Are you fascinated by ancient secrets and mysteries? Do you like to explore the unknown and discover hidden truths? In this video we will delve into the mysterious world of the Great Sphinx of Giza, one of the most iconic ancient megaliths in the world. Come with us on this journey and discover the secrets of one of the world's greatest mysteries. The hole in the Sphinx. The Great Sphinx of Giza is by far one of the most iconic ancient megaliths in the world. The archaic monument was built an estimated 4,500 years ago and stands guard in front of the pyramids of Giza. And yet, we know very little about the statue other than its age. According to historian Dr. Bethany Hughes, the Sphinx is full of secrets. She believes that hidden underneath the statue is a potential treasure, one that can only be reached through a hole in the side of the Sphinx that everyone seems oblivious to. There is a small opening at the base of the Sphinx near its tail that Dr. Hughes claims could be connected to a large chamber underneath. Nobody knows exactly where the tunnel finishes, and no one is about to start digging up the Sphinx because that would be far too dangerous for the monument. However, the hole is clearly there for everyone to see. In 1998, the Supreme Council of Antiquities led an excavation to see what was hidden beneath the main body of the monument. Egyptologist Zahi Hawass claims there are several natural cavities underneath, which the tunnel could lead to. They admitted there could be other unexplored cavities below the structure accessible through passageways that have likely collapsed. The whole thing is a major mystery. Some even say there is a hole in the head of the Sphinx which leads into a hidden chamber inside the body, although that has never been proven either. The Sphinx before the flood. Let's talk about the Sphinx's erosion problem. In the 1950s, French Egyptologist Schwaller de Libes speculated that the Sphinx's body had been eroded by extreme deluges of water. The erosion on the bottom of the Sphinx is significantly worse than the erosion on the pyramids, making it seem as if the Sphinx could be a lot older. In 1979, another expert on Egyptian history, John Anthony West, attributed the erosion to floods. He speculated that the floods occurred between 15,000 and 10,000 BC. It was his firm belief that a much older civilization created the Sphinx, a civilization we haven't even heard of before. The dating of the flood damage correlates with many estimates for when the biblical flood ravaged the world. In the Bible, the flood was sent by God to rid the world of wickedness, which had taken root since the fallen angels started messing around with human women. Many biblical archaeologists have suggested the flood took place about 12,000 years ago, lining up perfectly with the flood damage on the base of the Sphinx. It could very well be that the Sphinx had nothing to do with the ancient Egyptians. It could be the only surviving example of architecture from humanity prior to God's flood and Noah's Ark. What do you think about this version? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Secrets of the Atlanteans. What if the Sphinx is hiding a lost repository of knowledge left behind by descendants of the Atlanteans? This was a theory put forth by clairvoyant Edgar Cayce prior to his death in 1945. Edgar was the Nostradamus of the 20th century. During one of his trances, he had a vision of refugees fleeing the flooded city of Atlantis and burying their secrets in a vast hall underneath the paws of the Sphinx. He believed the hall would be found before the 20th century was over. Sadly, the mysterious Hall of Atlantean Records was never found, and it's currently the 21st century. But that doesn't mean Edgar was wrong. One of the prominent theories among conspiracy theorists is that the Sphinx was once part of the city of Atlantis. The theory claims that Atlantis was, in fact, Egypt, and that the Great Flood destroyed everything in their civilization except the glorious Sphinx. This would account for the flood damage along the base of the statue. Then when the flood waters receded, the Atlanteans came back and buried their remaining knowledge underneath the only monument still standing. The Hall of Records was sealed to safeguard their wisdom. Then as time wore on, the Atlanteans forgot who they were. Many believe the truth of their lost civilization is still hiding beneath the body of the Great Sphinx. The Alien and the Sphinx. There is a mysterious papyrus with a very long name. This funerary papyrus was painted by the ancient Egyptians 3,000 years ago. And it could be normal, except it has a strange image on it. It's currently on display at the Cairo Museum in Egypt. It appears to show the sky goddess Nut being held up by Shu, god of the air, and He. Underneath Nut is Geb, the earth deity, but in the bottom corner of the painting is a small image of the Sphinx. So unassuming you wouldn't even realize it's there at first. Sitting on the back of the Sphinx is what can only be described as an alien spaceship. The object painted on the funerary scroll has legs like a tripod. It's shaped like a disc and has a little bulb on the top. It looks like a tiny flying saucer, and it even has rays of light coming off it to show that it glows. I mean, it's definitely how we picture UFOs in the modern era. So what in the world is the spaceship doing sitting on the back of the Sphinx? This is a question nobody has been able to answer. The picture is ancient and shows no other evidence of alien life forms, and yet it clearly depicts a UFO lounging on the back of the Sphinx. Sure, the object could be a bug or a plant, but why would there be a plant growing out of the Sphinx's backside? The truth is that although the Sphinx has been estimated at 4,500 years old, it could be much older. There is a lot of erosion on the Sphinx that seems to suggest it was drenched in centuries of rain starting around 10,000 BC. Was the world completely different back then? What does all of this mean? Some think that it indicates alien ships were just a normal part of everyday life 3,000 years ago. What do you think is actually painted on the papyrus? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The Avenue of Sphinxes. There are sphinxes all across Egypt, not only at the pyramids in Giza. The truth is that Egyptians had an extreme obsession with these creatures. One of the best examples is the Avenue of Sphinxes in Luxor. The Avenue of Sphinxes was used as a processional walkway during cultic activity starting around 2,300 years ago. Researchers believe they were built by King Nectanebo between 380 and 362 BC. This is because many of the over 700 sphinxes lining the avenue have his face, just like how the Sphinx at Giza has the face of Pharaoh Khafre. These sphinxes combine the body of a lion with the head of the king. The avenue connects Karnak Temple and Luxor Temple, spanning 1.7 miles. I said 700 sphinxes, but that's only the number of sphinxes still standing. Originally, there were likely over 1,057 statues lining the avenue. It would have been a truly incredible sight to behold. There were also 3 different kinds of statues. One of the stranger kinds was a sphinx with the body of a lion and the head of a ram. These ones were built during the reign of Tutankhamun. Thanks for watching. What do you believe is hiding beneath the Sphinx? Let me know in the comments below and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you next time. Bye.